Good morning, everyone. This is Carrie from Conversations at Carrie's Corner. Today, I am going to be talking about a really important subject, one that is very personal to me, and one that has really opened my eyes into veterinary care for senior animals. And it's a true blessing. I'm just going to put it out there. If you follow me at all, first of all, welcome to this podcast. I hope that you are having a splendid Labor Day weekend. It is Labor Day weekend, and I hope you are taking the opportunity to rest and recuperate and regenerate as we head into September and the last 4 months of the year, which are going to be a crazy ride. And you all know what I'm talking about. But today I want to talk about this very, very important subject. I am an animal lover, have been all my life. I've been around animals all my life. I've had dogs all my life. Growing up, I had Welsh Corgis my entire life. And then in the last 11 and a half years, my husband and I have had the most amazing black lab. His name is Duke, and he's actually my service dog. He's retired now, but he saved my life twice. I have an implanted pain device that I must have to be able to walk and function and live my life, be a business owner, self-employed, entrepreneur, and I couldn't do any of it without the implant that I have. And that's from a major injury that I had in 2006. Duke, we got about 6 years after my injury, and I was doing really well. Actually, it was 5 years actually. And all of a sudden one day I woke up and I felt really strange. I didn't feel well, and Duke at the time, didn't have him very long. He came up and he kept nudging me on the side like he was trying to bring my attention to something. Basically what he was doing is alerting me that my implant had failed. And when that happens, it is a true emergency, because with the medicine that is on board, which is intravenously done on my nerves, it could be a really bad deal for me. And so he has alerted to that twice. My implant has actually failed twice, and he alerted me both times. And so we had him certified as my service dog. I didn't get him trained as a service dog. He just had this unbelievable ability to take care of me in those times where my implant failed. So we've had him 11 and a half years, and he has just been the most amazing dog, family member. He's just not a dog. He's like one of our children now. He brings us such joy and such happiness, and he's had some pretty significant trauma in his 11 and a half years. He's had 3 major surgeries. Both back legs have had total ACL repairs, which is a massive surgery. And then he had an elbow repair done too. And unfortunately for him, these knee surgeries, the ACL tears that he has developed chronic severe arthritis in his back legs. He's happy, he's healthy, he's engaged, but he's struggling to walk. And when you get these big animals like this, especially these big dogs, these really athletic dogs, this is an area that unfortunately can affect their quality of life. And when you are facing that, it is a very difficult situation, because they're there with everything else, their food, their engagement. He still swims twice a day. He still is the dog that we love, but he struggles mightily with severe arthritis pain and discomfort. And he's 11 and a half. He'll be 12 in November. And I was doing some research at the beginning of the year and just desperate to try to find something that I could do that was going to improve his quality of life that I could not provide to him. We give him we do daily swimming with him to help control his pain and discomfort. We've got him on painkillers. We've got him on anti-inflammatories. We're doing all of these things to try to help his quality of life, because I will not let, under any circumstances, this beautiful animal suffer. And it was tearing me apart watching this, both my husband and I. And it made me so incredibly sad, because I knew that he wanted to run. I knew that he wanted to chase the squirrels. I knew that he still has all this desire to do all this, but he physically can't do it. So I was frantic to try to find some sort of care that I could give him that would be in our home. He hates the vehicle, so anytime we get into the vehicle, that creates this massive stressful situation. He has severe anxiety separation from me because he's my service dog. And so I just knew that I had to do something, because I was not going to let him suffer. And I was at my wit's end. I didn't know what else, if there was anything else out there that we could do to help him, getting him comfortable in all these situations that we needed to, when we needed to go to the vet and these things. He started on an injection which has truly changed the game for him. It's pretty new to the United States. It's Librela. He takes it once a month, and the difference is drastic. For about almost 3 weeks out of the month, he has a completely different physiological condition. He's able to get up better. He's able to walk better. He obviously feels better. But for that 9-day period of time, it's a challenge, and it is a emotionally draining situation for us. It's physically draining for him. And I just knew there had to be something in our world today. I just thought, oh my gosh, there has to be some sort of additional care that we can get this beautiful animal to help him get through the end stages of his life. And we're not fooling ourselves that he's not at the end stages of his life, but we want to do everything we can to make these days, months, however long he has, comfortable and enjoyable. He deserves that. He's given us so much that we deserve to make his final days the best that they can be, the most comfortable that they can be, so he can enjoy his swimming and his playing a tug of war with the towels, and all of these things that make this beautiful dog this beautiful dog. And then I heard that there was some in-home veterinary services available, and so I immediately started to checking into them. And in my particular area, there was 6. Unfortunately for us, based upon our zip code and the geographical requirements, you had to be within 15 miles of these the base offices for these facilities, and nobody would come. We were a half a mile outside their area, which broke my heart. I thought, do we have to move? A half a mile? Really? A half a mile? And you're not going to help me take care of, you're telling us that this is what you do, this is your specialty, but yet we're a half a mile away and you won't come. And so I happened to be online, and I happened to hear about Blue Pearl Veterinary Hospice Care. And we have experience with Blue Pearl because one of his knee surgeries was at Blue Pearl. So I immediately called them and I said, oh, please tell me about your hospice care. What is it? What does it entail? What services do you provide? How often do you come? How much does it cost? And for us, fortunately, Duke has always had insurance. We've always had veterinary pet insurance for him, because I knew when we got him, because he was going to be such a big athletic dog, that because I'm an insurance agent, I knew that we needed to get this in order to offset any medical bills that we may have had. And thank heavens we have had it, because I really don't know if we could have afforded to give him the kind of care that we've been able to without True Panion. That's the name of his insurance company. And they've been absolutely phenomenal, that company. I would encourage any of you that own a big dog that are looking for a really good pet insurance program. They by far have the most comprehensive coverage. They're not the cheapest, I will tell you that, but what you pay for is amazing. They cover just about everything except your annual checkups, just like when a female goes and has their, your annual checkup. Generally speaking, you pay for that out of pocket, and then any of your labs and those sort of things are covered, and that's what this plan pays for. And they have a $250 deductible. It's a lifetime deductible per injury. So for Duke, he said 2 major surgeries, and our deductible has been $250, and we only pay 10% of all of the expenses. That makes a difference between having services done for him and not, because of the drastic increases in veterinary care. So I made some phone calls, and I got in touch with Blue Pearl Hospice. They come here to the house once a month. They do a complete physical once a month. They provide me 24 hours a day emergency care by phone. If I'm in a situation where I have an emergency, there is an emergency clinic that I can get him to. I can call and talk about any situation that we might be experiencing. They give us the medications that we need. They refill the medications. They even give us emergency care tools in the event that we're on a weekend and he is in crisis mode, so I can make him comfortable until I can get him to see somebody. They do it all here at my house. I pay for it, and I do pay a monthly fee to belong to this plan, but the peace of mind and the comfort and the care that he gets, there's no price tag, because he deserves it. He deserves everything that we can do to make the last days of his life the best that they can be, at home, in his surroundings, where he knows he's loved, where he's not separated from us, versus being in a cold, unfamiliar veterinary emergency hospital. I just don't want him to have to go through that. They also do in-home care. They do in-home euthanasia as well. So I know if we have to get to that decision, that decision can be done in our home with him, so he knows that he's truly loved and we will be by his side. That for us is such an amazing gift for us to be able to give him. I hear all the time that people leave their dogs when they euthanize them, and I don't understand how you could do that. This animal has given you love and care, and yeah, it's going to tear us apart. It's going to devastate us. But he needs to be able to see us and know that we're there and that we love him, and not leave him with somebody that he doesn't know at that moment in his life, the end of his life. I just think that that's cruel. And if you're going to own a pet, it's a big responsibility. It's like having a child. Then you've got to go all in. You can't be half in and half out with animals, because they depend upon you. Nothing makes me angrier than seeing animals that are abused or mistreated because the owner can't step up to the plate and do the job that they knew that they were going to have to do when they got the animal. If you're not willing to pay the piper, don't get the animal, because everything about their lives depends on you. Then you see these people that buy these animals and then release them out into the wild. And what kind of life is that? They've never had to get their own food, get their own water, and as a human being, you're going to be a coward and just let them go somewhere? I think that's despicable, and I think if you're found guilty of that, you should go to jail. I also think that any sort of pet abuse on an animal, you should go to jail, just like human beings. And I'm so incredibly impressed by this service. I watched my mom go through the last 2 weeks of her life, and the one thing she always wanted was to be at home, and we managed to do that. Not by long, but we did manage to get her home, and so she was able to pass at home, which is what one of her final wishes were. And I know Duke can't articulate that, but I wouldn't want him to have it any other way. And this service is such an incredible peace of mind for my husband and I. I have to travel overseas shortly, and the peace of mind that I'm getting to know that he has emergency care available at the tip of his fingers by a phone to get the emergency help that he needs for Duke is really the only reason I would even consider going. Because if they didn't have that, I could not in good conscience go. And it's still a struggle, even with knowing that they are here at home and they're taken care of. It's still a struggle because these days can be difficult days for Duke. His arthritis is so severe, and he needs a lot of medical support. He needs a lot of really emotional support. Dogs are emotional, and he needs to know that we are here to help him so he can be comfortable and happy and continue to eat. You know, Labradors, they eat like horses. All of that is so important, and that's what this service helps us do. They give us the tools and the information and the products and the support that we need to give Duke the best support that we can give him at this time in his life. And for me to tell you that this service is truly a gift and remarkable, the words are just don't do it service. The peace of mind is just astounding. The veterinary care is world class. The doctors and the techs are unbelievable. They come in here and they love this animal, and they want him to live as long as he can. And they also help us with the emotional support in dealing with the end of his life. That is a huge blessing, because it is a very, very traumatic thing when you're as attached to an animal as we are to this animal and this dog who has saved my life. I have to be able to look at myself and know that I've done everything I can to make him as happy and as comfortable as possible. And Blue Pearl Hospice is helping me do that. So if you have an animal and you are facing the end of their life, and this is a national company, go out to the internet and just type in Blue Pearl Hospice, and then they will locate a clinic or facility close to you and call them. It's worth every penny. And the great thing is, insurance will actually pay for it. Not all of it, but pay for any of it makes our life so much easier, because it is expensive. And it is a big, big expense. But he's so worth it, because he's a family member. He's just not a dog. So if you're at that point in your life and you have a pet that needs end-of-life care, you need it too. Believe me, you need the emotional support that this great team of doctors and nurses and techs will give you. There's no price tag on it, because the peace of mind is, it doesn't matter what it costs. If it gives you peace of mind and it helps you deal with all of the things that you've got to deal with and the things you got to look for, why would you not? After all, don't they deserve it? They give you unconditional love 24 hours a day, their entire life, and it's our job to make sure that we give that back to these remarkable animals that have been such a big part of our lives. I'm happy to share the information with you personally, so if you want to reach out to me, you certainly can. Leave me a message in this video and let me know how I can reach you, and I'm happy to share the information. I'm also happy to answer any further questions that you may have. Blue Hospice Care for animals. I totally encourage you to look into it, make the phone call, because it really will give you the peace of mind that you need dealing with family members at this stage of their life. It is so similar to what I went through with my mom, and to say that it's actually better speaks volumes of how badly we don't make this kind of care available to our human loved ones. Our system is not caring and compassionate to our human loved ones. When I see the difference between what I have with my dog and the hospice care that I get with my dog versus the hospice care that I got with my mother, it's a sad commentary on our society, unfortunately. And if my voice can help bring about change, then that's what I'm going to do. Because no family should have to watch a loved one suffer and not get the help, compassion, and guidance and support that they need, not only to get that person through the end of their life, but help you cope with the end of their life. And Blue Pearl Veterinary Hospice Care does that. And I would highly recommend you take the time to look into them. And I'm happy to share it with you. So please, if you would, send me a message if you'd like more information. If I can share any more details with you, I certainly would. And I am just incredibly glad that we found this amazing program. And we will just continue as long as he needs us to, because he deserves it. They give you unconditional love 24 hours a day for their entire life. And it is our responsibility to make sure that his final days are full of love, happiness, comfort, and joy. That's what we all want. And animals are no different. Thank you for joining me today at Conversations at Carrie's Corner. This podcast is all about helping us figure out a way to communicate with each other better. You know, we've lost the art of communication in this country, and I feel like it is a huge contributing factor to why we are so divided. You know, I can remember, and I have this picture in my mind of this beautiful 50s diner where you could go in, grab a cup of coffee, sit down and have a meal, and meet somebody at the bar or at the next table, and have this unbelievable conversation, and come away with a new friend, a new acquaintance, and sometimes even come away with a different perspective than you were or had before you sat down. And that's what we're missing. As a society and as a country, we have forgotten how to communicate, to respect each other's positions, because we can disagree. That's the amazing thing about humanity, is we're all different. We all think differently. We all feel differently. But we have got to figure out a way to get back to where we can respect each other and respectfully disagree. And the way to do that is through conversations and communication. And that's what this podcast is all about. Starting a conversation, because that truly is where change can start. And we've got to start somewhere. We've got to fix the divide in our country, because it's going to tear us apart if we don't. I think we all know that. And we've all got to make an effort to get back to the middle, to talk to each other, so we really can continue to have the greatest land on earth, the United States. And I'm biased. I know there's great countries all around the world, and if you're in one of those countries, I know you are just as proud of your country, but I'm pretty sure that the same issues here are everywhere. The lack of conversation is a huge problem in our society, because we are all too busy talking on a cell phone or an iPad. We've lost the art of talking to each other, and we've got to get it back. So thank you for joining me at Conversations at Carrie's Corner. God bless. I hope you have a tremendous rest of your Labor Day weekend, and I hope you get lots of rest, lots of relaxation, and recuperate as we head into the fall of 2024. It is going to be a crazy 4 months, and I hope that we all can just step back and say, let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation. Let's meet at Carrie's Corner and have a conversation and learn to respect each other's positions and opinions. God bless. This is Carrie from Texas. Carrie's Corner, Conversations at Carrie's Corner. Thanks for joining me today, and I will see you next time. God bless everyone, and God bless the United States of America.